Hey guys, it's Ross. We're gonna learn about the AIDS epidemic. Woo! Alright, so on June 5th, 1980, the weekly report of morbidity and mortality describes a case of rare lung infection in five young, previously healthy gay men in Los Angeles, California. Two of the five men died before the report was even published. Their symptoms indicated that their immune systems were failing. This is the first recorded instance of what is now known as the AIDS epidemic. So the CDC. So on September 24th, the CDC, which stands for the Center for Disease Control, uses the term AIDS for the new disease they were encountering. AIDS stands for Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. In January of 1982, the first AIDS clinic is established in San Francisco. Hospitals across the country begin screening blood transfusions for traces of the AIDS virus. Each year following 1982, the number of AIDS clinics drastically increases, as does the mortality rate. So here we have a couple of graphs. On the left, we have a graph of the total AIDS cases reported through December of 1996. And as you can see, Massachusetts is actually one of the most densely populated places for AIDS victims. There are over 10,000 AIDS victims in Massachusetts. And obviously, in places like North Dakota and things like that, there are very, very few. And on the right, that is the AIDS density graph, basically, of 2008, I believe. And as you can see, Massachusetts is still right up there with some of the most densely populated areas. So, be careful, guys. Be safe. All right, so here we have another graph, and this shows the different types of people that can get AIDS. Obviously, everyone can, but according to the graph, this is the rate per 100,000 people, and you know, uh, blacks are have the highest population of people with AIDS. Then next, it's Hispanics and Latinos, and then it's whites. That's for males, and it's actually the same for females. Quite a few less, but still, it's blacks, then Hispanic and Latina, and then white. So finally, here with the last graph, this shows just the percents of people that are susceptible to AIDS. So in the 61%, the most, the red area, that is men having sex with other men. So they are the most susceptible to AIDS. And then next, for 27%, it's heterosexual. And then for the 9%, oh sorry, yep, the 9% in the blue, it's injected drug users. So stay away from the needles, guys. And then finally, for the green, there is just a combination of both, which apparently is quite small. Alright, so here are some symptoms of AIDS. Let's see, there's fever, chills, rash, night sweats, muscle aches, sore throat, fatigue, swollen lymph nodes, and ulcers in the mouth. And some people never have the symptoms. Others are affected by ARS, which is acute retroviral syndrome, which is said to be like the worst flu ever. And ARS can occur within 2 to 4 weeks after exposure. So, misconceptions. This is back to the guided notes. Alright, so in the early 1980s and even into the 90s, AIDS was still not fully understood. Many believed that only gay males or avid drug users could get the virus. Much of the population also believed that AIDS could be transferred by touch or saliva, and that anyone with HIV also had AIDS. All of these misconceptions led to discrimination, fear, and social isolation of AIDS victims. Today we know the truth about AIDS, and we acknowledge the struggle that people must go through. Some famous people that have had the AIDS virus are basketball star Magic Johnson and rapper Eazy-E. Alright, so last thing, guys. there was pretty great mistreatment of workers with AIDS because everyone just kind of misunderstood them and didn't really know what they were going through. So one of these examples was Jeffrey Bowers, and he sued his law firm Baker and McKenzie for wrongful dismissal. So basically, he was fired because he had AIDS, and his company was not ready to accept that. So Bowers won his case in 1987, and he was one of the first AIDS-related discrimination cases ever recorded. Cases like Bowers led to the creation of the Academy Award-winning film Philadelphia, starring Tom Hanks. So that's it, guys. Have a good night. Later.